Om Om Jnanatimandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is an auspicious day. It is the disappearance day of two very great personalities. One is Gadadhara Pandit, who is one of the members of the Panchatattva. In Mayapur, we have the 5 deities of the Panchatattva. There's Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, then Gadadhara Pandit and Srivas Thakur. So Gadadhara Pandit was a very, very intimate friend of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They grew up together. Gadadhara Pandit's house was here in Mayapur. So he lived, as a young child, he lived very close to Lord Chaitanya's home. And they went to school together. And Gadadhara was very attached to Lord Chaitanya. Actually, it said Gadadhara, he is like an incarnation of Srimati Radharani. So within the Panchatattva, we have 5 forms of the absolute truth. We have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna. And then you have Lord Nityananda, who is not different from Lord Balaram. Then we have Advaita Acharya. Now, Lord Nityananda, he is the expansion of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. And Advaita Acharya, he is the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya. And he is, Advaita Acharya is actually Mahavishnu. And also sometimes it's said he is Sada Shiva. So these 2 personalities are both there within the body of Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnu and Sada Shiva. So Advaita Acharya. And then Gadadhara. Gadadhara is the internal potency. Srimati Radharani is the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. And Gadadhara Pandit is the appearance of Srimati Radharani in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Because if Srimati Radharani was to come in a female form, then she can never associate with Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya was a sannyasi. So he cannot associate with the opposite sex. So Gadadhara Pandit, Srimati Radharani took the form of Gadadhara Pandit. And all the other gopis and Sakhis and friends of Radharani, they also came in male forms so that they could associate with Lord Chaitanya and with Lord Nityananda and take part in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. They came to take part in the Sankirtan. In Krishna Lila, Krishna with the gopis, they would perform Rasa Lila. But in the Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna becomes Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, he's performing Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names. Therefore, Srimati Radharani came in the form of Gadadhara Pandit. And In this way, he was associating with Lord Chaitanya. So Gadadhar was extremely renounced as a young man. He was a lifetime brahmachari. When he was a young person, he would often talk and discuss with Lord Chaitanya. They would speak about different philosophies, and Lord Chaitanya would always defeat him in arguments. But still, they were always friends. They were very close friends, and Gadadhar was extremely attached to Lord Chaitanya. So it happened on one occasion, they heard that a great devotee is coming to Mayapur. And Gadadhar was told that you should go to see this person. He's really a good devotee. So Gadadhar, because Gadadhar is very renounced as a brahmachari, he went there and he saw this person. This person was Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He's from what is now Bangladesh, and he was a wealthy landowner. And we have a big center there, actually, in the land and the temple where Pundarik Vidyanidhi used to worship 500 years ago. It's all been given to ISKCON. It's in the care of ISKCON. Anyway, this Pundarik came there to Mayapur, and Gadadhar went to see him. And Gadadhar, when he saw him, he was disappointed because he thought he looks like a materialist, because Pundarik was quite wealthy. So he had servants fanning him, and he was dressed in very nice clothes, and he had many rings on his fingers, like people often do. Bengalis, they wear different rings, different stones for different planets on their fingers. So he had many stones on his fingers, and he had ornaments as well, necklaces and things around his neck. He was dressed very opulently, and he was sitting on a nice seat, and there was many nice sherbets and cool drinks in front of him. Different refreshments were there, and then there was also salty things and sweet things there, all for his taste. So Gadadhar was a brahmachari and very renounced, and when he came and saw this Pundarik, he thought, oh, this person is just a materialist, that he's so opulent, he eats so many nice things, and he's so eloquently dressed. And he thought, I don't think he could be a very good devotee. So it happened that Makunda, who was another devotee, Makunda Datta, he had told Gadadhar to go to meet this Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He told him he's a very good devotee. So Makunda could understand what Gadadhar was thinking. So then Makunda recited a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam about who could be more merciful than Lord Krishna. And it's a beautiful, he said, Makunda could sing the different verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he could sing them beautifully. The Sanskrit, it's very nice. So he sang this beautiful verse which begins, Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jagam Sayapaya Nadapya Sadbi. Like this, I can't sing very good at all, but anyway, the verse was about who could be more merciful than Lord Krishna. That Lord Krishna accepted Putana, right? Aho Bhakti Yam Stanakalakum. Bhakti means this, Aho Bhakti Yam, the sister of Bhakti. Bakasura was another demon who Krishna had killed. And he had a sister, Putana. And Lord, she came she put poison on her breast, and she wanted to kill Lord Krishna. But when she came and offered her breast to Krishna, Krishna sucked out her life air and liberated her and took her to the spiritual world to become one of his devotees in the spiritual world. So this is a beautiful verse describing this pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Mukunda sang it. And when he sang it, Pundarik Vijayanidhi, when he heard this verse, then his love for Krishna was awakened. And he fell off his seat. He had been sitting on quite a high seat. And he just fell off his seat. And he knocked over everything in front of him. And he rolled on the ground and cried, and he shed tears. And he was in this condition for a long time. So Gadadhara understood that when he had heard the verse, his love for Krishna had been awakened. And that love for Krishna resulted in him exhibiting all of these different ecstatic symptoms. So Gadadhara understood that this person really was a great devotee. So Gadadhara felt very bad that, I've offended a great devotee. So that night he went home and he couldn't sleep because he was thinking, I've offended a great devotee. He's a great devotee and I was disrespecting him. So Gadadhara decided I should take initiation from him. I should accept him as my guru. So the next day, Gadadhara came and he took, first of all, permission from Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, very nice. Go ahead, take initiation from him. And so Gadadhara came to this Pundarik Vijayanidhi and he fell at his feet and he begged him that, please forgive me for any offenses I made against you and please accept me as your disciple and give me initiation. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, all right, wait for an auspicious day and we will do it. So it said that this Pundarik Vijayanidhi in Krishna Lila, he is actually the father of Radharani. The father of Radharani means
Vrishabhanu.
Vrishabhanu, right? Vrishabhanu. The father, Kirtida is the mother, and Vrishabhanu is the father. So this is Vrishabhanu. He's come in Chaitanya Lila as Pundarik Vijayanidhi. And Radharani comes as Gadadhara, and she becomes the disciple of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Lord Chaitanya left Mayapur because Lord Chaitanya was living in Mayapur as a householder. He has his wife and mother in there. And so he left Mayapur and he went to Jagannath Puri. So at that time, Gadadhara also followed him. And Gadadhara also went to Jagannath Puri. And Gadadhara stayed there in Jagannath Puri with Lord Chaitanya. And while he was there in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya discovered a beautiful deity of Lord Gopinath. Gopinath is another name of Lord Krishna. Actually, this deity is called Tota Gopinath. So Lord Chaitanya gave this deity to Gadadhara to worship. And Gadadhara was living there in Jagannath Puri and he was worshipping the deity. But Lord Chaitanya decided he wanted to go to South India. So when Lord Chaitanya decided he wanted to go to South India, Gadadhara said, I also want to go with you. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, you have to stay here. You have to worship the deity. But Gadadhara said, no, I want to go with you. Wherever you go, I want to go with you. So Lord Chaitanya was not pleased. Lord Chaitanya told him, no, you stay here. He said, I've given you the deity of Gopinath to worship. You must take care of the deity now. And Gadadhara had also made a vow. He made a vow of Kshetra Sannyas, meaning that he would remain there in Jagannath Puri. So Lord Chaitanya reminded him of these things, but Gadadhara said, no, he said, I don't care about these things. I just want to go with you. But Lord Chaitanya would not allow him. He said, no, no, no. He said, you stay here in Jagannath Puri. But it was unbearable for Gadadhara to be separated from Lord Chaitanya. So Gadadhara, anyway, he had to stay. but it was very painful for him being separate from Lord Chaitanya. But when Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, and Lord Chaitanya traveled around India for 6 years, but he spent 18 years residing in Jagannath Puri. And regularly he would go to meet with Gadadhara Pandit, and Gadadhara Pandit would read the Srimad Bhagavatam to him. Lord Chaitanya was very fond of hearing Gadadhara recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And particularly, Lord Chaitanya liked to hear about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. These were the two favorite sections of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which Lord Chaitanya liked to hear. So Gadadhara was reading and he was reciting. Lord Chaitanya was very happy to hear from him. So later on, of course, Lord Chaitanya finished his pastimes and he disappeared from this world. And Gadadhara remained there in Jagannath Puri. And in his old age, he was still worshipping the deity. So the deity was quite a big deity, and Gadadhara would have to stretch up to put the ornaments on the deity. So it's said that it was becoming difficult for Gadadhara to put the ornaments and put the crown on especially. So it said the deity actually sat down. The deity assumed a sitting position, kneeling, and this way Gadadhara was able to serve the deity and put the ornaments and put the crown on the deity. So it's very special deity. The deity is sitting down, legs folded. And it's also said that one of the places when Lord Chaitanya left this world, his departure was very special. It said one of the places where he left the world was he entered into the deity of Tota Gopinath. This deity which Lord Chaitanya had given to Gadadhara, the Lord Chaitanya entered there into that deity. And there's a golden mark there on the leg of Gopinath, and the pujaris there will tell you that this is where Lord Chaitanya entered into the deity. So Gadadhara remained there in Jagannath Puri, and he had disciples, he took disciples, and there's still a line there, the disciplic succession there, and they're still there. And regularly, when we go to Jagannath Puri, we often go there to the Tota Gopinath temple, because although we're not allowed into the Jagannath Puri temple, we can go into the Tota Gopinath temple and see the deity, and we can also take prasad there, and the pujaris are very happy to give prasadam for the devotees. And we give the pujari some money, of course, to pay him to help him maintain the deity worship. So it's very nice. We have a nice relationship, nice friendship with the pujari there. And then today is also, we said, the disappearance day of a very great acharya in our line of disciplic succession, and that is Bhaktivinod Thakur. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, he is like the pioneer of Krishna consciousness in the Western world. In the year 1896, which is the same year our own Bhaktivedanta Swami took birth, in that same year, Bhaktivinod Thakur was publishing books about Lord Chaitanya, and he sent books to America and to Canada and to Europe. He sent books about Lord Chaitanya to these different parts of the world. So when the devotees went to Canada, they checked out in the McGill University there in Toronto, and they found that they had the same books which Bhaktivinod Thakur had sent there more than 100 years ago. So very wonderful. So Bhaktivinod Thakur was always concerned to distribute Krishna consciousness to everyone, everywhere. And he was always thinking about fulfilling the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted there will be preaching of the holy name, chanting of the holy name all over the world, and people of all different races and nationalities will all come together under the banner of Lord Chaitanya, and they will all chant and dance and sing the holy name. So Bhaktivinod Thakur wrote a lot and talked a lot about these things. And he was trying to do it himself. He was writing books. And he was distributing them, sending them to foreign countries. He himself was a very educated person. He had worked in the service of the British because at that time India was under the British rule. And Bhaktivinod Thakur had been put in charge of he was the magistrate in Jagannath Puri. So he was overseeing all of the affairs of the temple of Jagannath Puri. And in the time of Bhaktivinod Thakur, there was one person who was very corrupt and debauched. And this person was claiming that he was an incarnation of Vishnu. And he had some associates. One said he was Brahma, and the other one said he was Shiva. So this way, the three of them were debauchees, and they corrupted many innocent young women. So Bhaktivinod Thakur had them arrested and thrown in jail. But these people, they had some mystic powers, and they tried to put spells on Bhaktivinod Thakur, and they had him sick. He was quite sick at one point, but he did not give up. And finally, these people were convicted and sent to jail. And when they were in jail, this one who said he was Vishnu, he drank poison, committed suicide. So Bhaktivinod Thakur worked very hard to establish Krishna consciousness. He personally discovered the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Other people were claiming that the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the city of Navadvip, which means on the other side of the Ganga from where it is today. But Bhaktivinod Thakur knew that it couldn't be over there. So he did a lot of research, and then he also got some visions, and he found out the birthplace, which we call the Yoga Pith today. And when he found that place, then he brought Jagannath Das Babaji there. And at that time, Jagannath Das Babaji was about 120 years old, and he had to be carried there in a basket. But when Jagannath Das Babaji came there to the Yoga Pith, he danced and jumped in ecstasy and said, yes, this is the place. This is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it was Bhaktivinod Thakur who established the first temple there in Mayapur at the Yoga Pith, at the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And Bhaktivinod Thakur lived it's just across from our Mayapur temple. He lives in a place called Swarupganj. And he has his home there where he lived, and now his samadhi is there. And he wrote many, many books. Bhaktivinod Thakur, although he was a householder and he had a large family, he was called the seventh Goswami. You know, we speak of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. So they say Bhaktivinod Thakur, he is the seventh Goswami, because he worked so hard to spread Krishna consciousness, and he wrote so many songs and so many books on the teachings of the philosophy. He wrote so many songs which we're singing regularly, even songs like the Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, which we sing before class. This was written by Bhaktivinod Thakur. And then Yashomati Nandana, and then the Gora Arti, which we sing every evening. This is also from Bhaktivinod Thakur. And then Sri Krishna, we sing also every month, we sing Udila Aruna Pura Babaji and Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha, morning songs. These songs are all written by Bhaktivinod Thakur. He wrote many wonderful songs, beautiful poems, all about Krishna and Krishna's names. So we're really very, very much indebted to Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur he was preaching in India more than 100 years ago. So at that time, most of the people lived in the countryside. So Bhaktivinod Thakur would go from village to village to preach. He would go from village to village and he would do programs. And his program would be just like our program, just like we do some kirtan, and then we read the scriptures and explain some philosophy, and then we distribute prasadam. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was doing like that more than 100 years ago. He would go village to village and he would come and he'd have, they'd do some Sankirtan, and people loved the Sankirtan. Everybody would come and join in the Sankirtan, chanting, dancing. And then he would give a lecture to them from Bhagavad Gita about the life of Lord Chaitanya. And then they'd have some prasadam, distribute prasadam. And in this way, many people were introduced to Krishna consciousness. So we have a program, Namhata, the marketplace of the holy name. So this program comes from Bhaktivinod Thakur. He was the originator of the Namhata program, to go to every marketplace and to preach Krishna consciousness and awaken Krishna consciousness in the hearts of the people. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur was preaching in the villages, because in those days, just 100 years ago, India was very much rural, meaning everybody was engaged in their farming, they had land and they used the land to grow something like that, and they could live, they grow enough food to live. People were not working in factories. People were not driving cars everywhere. It was a very different life. People were living simply, but with culture. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he preached in the villages. Then later on, his seminal son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he took up preaching and he would preach more in the cities. He also preached in the countryside, but mainly he was preaching in the cities, because in his time, people had started moving to the cities. But then you have, after Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, we have our own Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he's preaching all over the world. So you can see how the Krishna consciousness movement expanded. And it came from Bhaktivinod Thakur. He was the initiator of the Krishna conscious worldwide preaching movement. By his preaching in the villages in India, he was establishing the programs for the future. So today is a glorious disappearance day. He disappeared from the world actually in Jagannath Puri. He was staying there. His final years, 2 years of his life were spent there in Jagannath Puri. And in his old age, he would say, just put me on a horse and take me for preaching. He couldn't walk, but he'd say, just put me on a horse and we'll go somewhere for preaching. So that was his mood. He liked to go out and to preach. And he was very happy to see the number of devotees expand. And he was very strict in following the disciplic succession. He was very careful to utilize his time. He never wasted any time. He had a very, very tight schedule, especially when he was working in the service of the British, because he was the chief magistrate and he had to deal with many cases. So he'd have to be very busy in the courts. But at the same time, he'd be writing poems and different books of philosophy. He wrote many, many different books, he wrote some novels, he wrote books didn't just write 1 or 2 songs, he wrote hundreds of songs. Just like there's one book of songs called Sharanagati, meaning Sharanagati means surrender. And from our study of the scriptures, we know there are 6 items of surrender. The 6 items of surrender are first of all, to accept everything favorable for devotional service, and then to reject what is not favorable for devotional service. Then the third thing is to know that only Krishna can protect us. The fourth item is to know only Krishna can maintain us. The fifth item is that we should have no desire separate from Krishna's desire. And the sixth item is that we should always think of ourselves meek and humble and unqualified. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur wrote several songs about each of the six items of surrender. There's really an amazing songbook, so many wonderful songs. You know, so we're so much in debt to the life of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. He worked so hard for our benefit that we could enjoy singing all the Vaishnava bhajans, and we can also hear. He also wrote commentaries on different books like Nectar of Instruction, also Chaitanya Charitamrita, these things. So we need to hear from Bhaktivinod Thakur. We have to learn more about his life, and we have to respect him more and more. He was such a compassionate soul that he labored so hard just to make it easier for us to access the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to take up this Krishna consciousness mission. All right, so are there any questions, anybody?
Guru Maharaj, I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Yes.
I recently was reading Sharanagati because I came across a kirtan. I was going for the lyrics of it, and that's how I came across the whole book. And that is actually a very different experience to read the book, because as you said, each of the chapter are composed with kirtans, and going through the kirtan actually evokes the sense of that chapter. I was sharing that with Vaishnavi Mataji and another devotee 1 week ago only. It's actually something that I cannot even explain how nice the feelings is.
Yeah, very nice. You found the Bengali version, was it?
Yes.
Where'd you find it?
I found it online.
Oh, online. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
So
there are many songs which we often sing, devotees like to sing. And the Bengali villages, people in Bangladesh, they're very familiar with all these songs. They sing them all the time. Now tomorrow is Gundicha Marjana Day. Before Rath Yatra Day is actually on Monday. The official Rath Yatra Day, Jagannath Puri is on Monday. And the day before Rath Yatra, we have Gundicha Marjanam. Marjanam means the cleaning, and Gundicha, the cleaning of the temple of Gundicha. But we could also say it's the cleaning of the heart, to cleanse the heart. And so there's a very nice description of Lord Chaitanya and how every year he would go to the Gundicha temple with all the devotees, and they clean the temple before Rath Yatra, because from Rath Yatra, the deity will come out. Remember, just now, at the present time, Lord Jagannath is not giving darshan. He is in private, and he's been in private for 2 weeks. Ever since the Snan Yatra, ever since the bathing festival, there's been no darshan of Lord Jagannath. So tomorrow is the day when they do the Gundicha Marjana. They clean the temple, because the next day, Lord Jagannath is coming out. He's going to appear, and he will go to the Gundicha temple. And the Gundicha temple hasn't been used all year, so they have to clean it very carefully. So wherever we have deities of Lord Jagannath, we like to do a big clean up. You know, like in the Gundicha temple, they will have many pots of water. They'll throw a lot of water everywhere, and they'll sweep. And Lord Chaitanya used to show by his own example. Lord Chaitanya used to clean very carefully, and he would collect more dirt than anybody else. And Lord Chaitanya would encourage all the devotees to work hard to clean all the straw and the sand and the dirt and get rid of everything. The same way we have to clean our heart so that we can develop our Krishna consciousness. So tomorrow is the Gundicha Marchanam, and then Monday will be the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. You can see on maybe on the internet, they may show the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. And Lord Chaitanya, of course, would take part in Rath Yatra every year, and he would organize it, and the people would come, the Vaishnavas would come from so many different villages, and each of the villages would have their own kirtan party, and within each party there'd be somebody assigned to sing, and somebody is the dancer, and somebody is to play the madanga, and other people playing kartals, like that. It was all very organized. And there were many kirtan parties. And Lord Chaitanya would dance in each of the kirtan parties. Just like in Rasa Leela, Krishna would appear in all the different places in the Rasa Leela. And each of the gopis thought, Krishna is with me. So the same way Lord Chaitanya would appear in each of the kirtan parties. And each kirtan party thought, Lord Chaitanya is dancing in our party. So in this way, everyone became very enlivened and very enthused to chant and to dance better, because they thought Lord Chaitanya is with us in our party. So that's the Rath Yatra festival. Rath Yatra actually means bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. Because Krishna's gone, he's left Vrindavan, he's gone off to Dwarka. So now with the Rath Yatra, then they can bring him home, bring him back to Vrindavan. Bring Krishna back to Vrindavan, bring the devotees also. Okay, no questions? So we will have Japa. Vaishnavi.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I just heard that all our Acharyas, Bhaktivinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta, or Kamala Manjari, Rati Manjari, right, Guru Maharaj? It was so inspiring to know that.
Yes, Kamala Manjari. Yeah, that's Bhaktivinod Thakur. Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe Srila Prabhupada is also like that. We don't know about it, right, Guru Maharaj? Or...
Well, if anybody ever asked Prabhupada about that, he would say, you don't require that. So you don't need to know that. So
okay.
Prabhupada was very confidential about these things. He didn't.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
And even Bhaktivinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, they never personally said who they were in the spiritual world. But this is done by other people, that they're making their assessment, you know.
Okay, Guru Maharaj.
It's not very significant for us to know these things. We're looking more at the external mood. The internal mood is personal, but the external mood is more important. Externally, his mission in writing books and distributing the philosophy, teaching the message of Lord Chaitanya, that is more important. The internal mood is something very special. not for everyone. Right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. So Guru Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction in every town and village will come true, right, Guru Maharaj? There are so many towns and villages, so it will take some time for this, or was just
Well, it's already pretty much fulfilled. You know, Hare Krishna movement is everywhere. And we have things like Padayatra going all over India for many, many years. They go to every town and village. So we consider actually that prediction is already fulfilled by the Krishna consciousness movement. Vaishnavi?
yes, Guru Maharaj. Yes, Guru Maharaj. I'm hearing. Yeah. Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, Guru Maharaj. It's there in so many places. Yeah. Not, yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, so now we will chant Hare Krishna.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinod. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinod. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhaktivinod ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Have a good week.
Thank you very much. You also. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Thank you, all the devotees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for organizing. Thank you so much. So grateful to you. Okay, Mataji, can I just introduce my cousin whose name is R.P. Prashanti?
Sorry, Mataji, can you tell again? I couldn't hear you now.
Can I please introduce my cousin who's here now?
Mataji?
Her name is Sri Prashanti. Sri Prashanti, my cousin. Can I introduce my cousin to Guru Maharaj?
Yes, definitely, Mataji. Sure.
She's new. She's trying to follow Krishna consciousness. She's trying to follow Krishna consciousness, Mataji. So
Wonderful, Mataji. Yeah, you can have her. We can have her in our class. Usually, it will be a Bhagavad Gita class. So, yeah.
Mataji, this class is usually on Saturdays, right? This class
Yes,
is on
yes.
Saturdays.
Saturdays, yes, at 2:30 p.m. India time. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, it's a class for the beginners, so it will be perfectly fine for your cousin.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Is Guru Maharaj?
Wonderful to have you, Mataji. Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj left or still here? Guru Maharaj, is he still there?
Sorry, Mataji.
Is Guru Maharaj still in the group or Guru Maharaj has left the group?
Oh, he has already left, Mataji.
Oh,
You can speak with him next week also. He will join. And definitely you can add your cousin, anyone who is interested.
thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining us. Wonderful to have you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Vaishnavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Yuna Mataji.
Hare
Yeah, Hare Krishna. How are you?
I am fine, and you? What is your health?
Good, good. Good, Mataji. Somehow, I think by all your prayers, Guru Maharaj also, all your prayers, I recovered very quickly yesterday. It was terrible yesterday and the day before yesterday, but yesterday morning I felt completely fine.
Okay.
And my friends
Very
also little bit surprised because they had 3 days fever and
Yes, yes,
still
maybe.
after the second
Maybe,
vaccination.
of course.
So yeah, so I because of yesterday I was feeling well. I didn't have to cancel my programs, Mataji. So I'm thankful to you, Yuna Mataji, because of your chanting one round for me and all your devotee prayers.
Thank you for
I was
organization, Vaishnavi Mani Mataji.
No, nothing at all, Mataji. Thanks for all of you.
And thank you for your
Yeah.
fest. It was so interesting to hear about it.
Today, right? Bhaktivinod thakur and
yes.
Gadhadhara. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know even that also, Mataji. You see, we are here without devotee association that nobody reminded us, nobody knows.
Yes.
I saw it in the calendar, but we forgot about it totally.
And what will be your next fest? When will be your next fest?
Oh, next festival is on 24th. 24th.
Yes.
Yeah, did you see Guru Maharaj is telling that I should have vegetarians do the
yes, you need vegetarians.
prasadam. Yeah, this time, yeah, Mataji, but there are very few vegetarians. I don't know how I will do for 150 people.
It's very difficult to find vegetarians. Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe I should. Previously I was discussing with Guru Maharaj, not for this festival, but sometime back. So that time Guru Maharaj told for Janmashtami everybody can do and come and offer like that for the festival. So I thought, I assumed, I didn't clarify with Guru Maharaj. I assumed that for India Day also I could have everybody do it, but the initiated devotees have to be careful not to take the food made by non-devotees like that.
Yes, it is a strong influence from not vegetarians. Yes, I think it is so.
So
I remember sometimes when I eat with my colleagues in my job, sometimes very seldom, but it was sometimes, and I was not good after that.
Oh, eating from non-vegetarian.
Yes. No, I ate. I didn't eat not vegetarian food, but
eaten cooked by non-vegetarian.
Yes, cooking not vegetarians. Yes, at least not good.
Yes, Mataji. I should find then vegetarian people to have them cook on 24th. Then I think 24th I can manage because it's going to be a small, it's not a big festival like this, not for a 11 to evening, but it will be only in the evening like that. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. So yeah, Guru Maharaj says, he's very detailed about listening everything.
I remember I didn't like meat from my childhood.
Yes. You see?
I didn't like eat it. I didn't want to eat it, and I was forced by my parents. No, you must to eat. All people eat meat, fish. You also must to eat it. Oh, why
then
must?
How did you manage? Why
I have Oi.
How did you manage, Mataji? Then?
How much how a lot of years I am vegetarian.
Yeah, but you were forced to eat meat from when you are with the parents.
Yes, I was forced.
Mm.
It's not good.
Yeah,
I remember we had a cat, and he ate meat, and I ate dough, for example.
oh my God.
And
Yeah.
one old devotee one time said me, you necessarily will meet your cat in Vaikuntha or in Goloka. Necessarily. He helped you.
Okay. Wonderful, Mataji.
Yes, wonderful. Very funny, very funny. We both was very satisfied. Very satisfied.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what we made a few things, mistakes this time. We have to correct next time. In
Yes.
India Day.
Yes,
Like
yes.
that.
In India,
Yeah.
it's easy, I think, but in Russia, it's very difficult to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, Mataji. Difficult. Many people not vegetarian. Even Indian people nowadays. Mainly, they are not able to give up. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, Mataji. So Mataji, you have not your passport you received already, right?
I will receive it on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, good.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
yes, and immediately I have to do one vaccination.
Tuesday vaccination for you?
Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
Okay, Mataji. Tuesday or Wednesday. First dose, Moderna or Pfizer?
No.
No?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay, let's see, Mataji. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
We have to see, and we receive something. Thank you very much, Vaishnavi Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I'll speak more
Yes.
No. Yeah, speak more in WhatsApp. I think now there is another class at 1 o'clock in this Zoom link.
Yes.
People
half an hour later.
Yeah. Send it in the group, Mataji. Maybe some people will join.
I sent it. I sent.
So yeah, we will see in that class now again.
Yes. I just sent the link.
Oh, you already sent it. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes. Some minutes ago.
Yeah. There is one Mataji, my guide, Geeta Govind Mataji. She has joined now. She is doing the children's class here. I want to maybe Mataji, are you there?
Yes, I am there.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, she is Yuna in Russia, and Mataji Geeta Govind Mataji is living in Mayapur.
Very beautiful. My dream to live in Mayapur.
Yes, everybody's dream, but
yes.
Yeah. Mataji, this Yuna Mataji is aspiring to get initiation. She joins all the classes of Guru Maharaj Mataji, and she is in some remote corner of in Russia where all the time winter, Mataji, no summer at all. She sent me photos. No one, not many people, everywhere the pine trees.
It's a Krishna's mercy because I have a job. Now I have vacation, but in winter, in the spring, I had a job, a lot of it. We have exams. I work in a musical school. In spring we had exams, concerts, a lot of, and it is Krishna's mercy that I take part in Guru Maharaj's classes.
Mayapur is full of Russians. Please come.
Ah, yes, yes.
I have lots of Russian friends here.
Yeah, Mataji, we are waiting to come to Mayapur.
Oh, I hope.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
will meet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Mataji, we will, Yuna Mataji and myself, we have a Gita Govind. We will let go Gita Govind Mataji take her class.
Very
And
beautiful.
yeah, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
I will meditate on it.
Yeah, going to Mayapur.
Yes, to go into Mayapur. Yes, thank you, Mataji, very much for your conversation. Please accept
Thank you,
my humble
Mataji. Hare
acquaintances.
Krishna.
See you ever.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Bhavana, you join.
Bhavana, please make me host.
Yes, Mataji. Bhavana. Shikrama.
Start the recording.
Yes, Mataji. I'm just making you host, Mataji. Make host. Okay. Hare Krishna Sulabham.